Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? So happy you're here. Tonight is, what is the October 22nd, Tuesday, October 22nd. I love October. It's my favorite month. May and October are my favorite months. It's so beautiful. I love the weather so much and I feel calm. But October is not just a beautiful month, it's also when the World Series starts. And our friend Leo, why don't you zoom in for a second? Um, Leo and his Dodger hat have zoomed in. So we want a big shout out to the Dodgers, the LA Dodgers, and Leo is from California, so he is very excited about the Dodgers. Our,
Charge!
so I love it. I love it. You know, I'm sending you all my good luck. Um, as a Red Sox fan, I love you guys.
You
And I
know, I
did.
sang the national anthem at Dodger Stadium in '99, so I've left some of my good juju there.
Are
I
you
don't know if it
kidding
worked
me?
over the years, but it's
That's
going to work this time.
what an honor. That's amazing. Wow, Leo. So our friend Krista Piero was a huge uh, uh, Yankees fan. So shout
Yep.
out to Krista Piero, who we adore. And
And Anthony Barilli, I'm sorry.
I know the Mets. But let me tell you something. They are scrappy, and they really fought and fought and fought. And let me tell you, the Mets are you look out for the Mets because the Mets are no longer in that category of like the poor Mets. They're great. So, I love the Mets. I do give a lot of shout out to the Mets. I have a lot of Mets fans. And our friend Poppy was a huge Mets fan. So I always think of Pop and Dave DeChico. So I love two of my loves that are in heaven.
Dave.
I know. Anyway, we do want to shout out to our Yankee fans, our Dodger fans. I know Darcy is a huge Dodger fan. Now, one of our friends that is joining us tonight, quite at the last minute, but it was a lot of things came
Oh,
up. I wanted to just promo what
should
I
we do
want.
our start of our show
Oh yes, please. Yes. Oh my God.
official?
Let's do it. Yes, I didn't have it on chat. Okay, so Danielle Alexandria Alchemy has joined us. Lots of love, Maria Leon. What's the story with Maria family? Danielle is our friend. She is a medium, a spiritual medium, a psychic, card reader. She does past life regressions. She does spirit animal readings. She does anything you can imagine. She talks to the other side. If you want anything of the spiritual nature to speak to you and or through Danielle, I'm not just saying this. She's incredible, and I highly recommend her. You can get in touch with her at DanielleAlexandriaAlchemy.com. Okay, and then my cousin Rena Krinyali Berge has joined us. Hello, my loves. Hello, Rena, from the leaves, the foliage of Massachusetts. I saw you blowing those leaves, and your husband was caught up in the. Oh my God, very dangerous that leaf blowing in Woburn, Massachusetts. Love you guys. We love you too, Danielle. You are. Thank you, my incredible friend. Right back at you, my friend. Okay, so tonight I have a guest that is joining us at around 9:20. Our friend Scott Barbarino, who I love. We've been friends a long, long time, and he's doing some amazing things with Scott Barbarino and the Bev Naps tonight. So he's going to join us. I was very excited about that. And then I was scrolling through Facebook, as is my way, and I saw that something called Soul Picnic, a celebration of Laura Nero, came up, and I was like, wait, that's Barry Silver's show. My friend Barry Silver from he comes to the duplex when he's in town, but he lives in Tampa. And I thought, oh, he must be producing that. I didn't realize he had written and directed it. So at last minute, I got Barry is joining us. So I think that we should, Leo, if it's okay with you. Oh, let's show our calendar, boys, first. So we do want to let you know. Oh, there's Mr. and Mr. October from the Nothing But the Apron calendar, or What's the Story with Maria, Nothing But the Apron calendar. These are our two October boys. How cute are they? I do suspect they hiked up their aprons, though, because the apron's a little longer than that. But you know what? If you're going to work out like that and have those kind of gams, by all means, hike it up, baby. That's what I say. So there they are. And I got to tell you, Leo and I are very excited because everybody's coming in now for our 2025 calendar, and we have almost everybody in. We're waiting for two more, or maybe one more. No, I think it's two more we're waiting for, and then we will have our calendar complete. Well, the pictures are And then Leo has the tireless job of combing through all those pictures, zooming in and making and putting their names where the name should be, and making sure that he does the whole layout. He does everything. So, and then if you would like a calendar, and these are amazing Christmas gifts. They're super reasonable, super reasonable. They're under $20, and they're super reasonable and fun. They're great stocking stuffers. What's the story with Maria.com? You can go there and get one, or you can just reach out to me and order one. Or if you're someone that I see from day to day, come to the Duplex or Stonewall or Brandy's. I will have the calendars. I know, like Susie Campanero buys a ton for Christmas presents. People like that, they buy a bunch up and then they send them out. So please let us know, even ahead of time, if you would like a calendar, and I will send it right out to you. Those calendars should be ready in, I'm going to say, by the middle of November. Okay? I'm thinking middle of November, third week in November, the latest. Okay. We are going to bring in, Leo, with your permission, I would love to bring in my friend Barry Silber from Tampa. There he is. Hi, Barry.
Hello, Maria.
Oh,
It's
my God.
technically Lutz, Florida, still in Hillsborough County where Tampa is.
Okay. Okay, great. Now, did you guys get hit by that storm at all?
Oh, indeed we did. We just got our water back on last Friday. We had to evacuate to South Carolina.
Oh, my God. I was so worried
But
about
we're
you.
okay. We're all safe and sound.
All right. And how about the theater that your show is
You
in?
know, it shows you where my priorities are. That was my first call. The theater
course.
is in perfect shape.
Wow. That's a miracle. That's fantastic. All right. So, Barry, now you and I met at the Duplex. We're both, I was working with Jerry Diefenbach those nights, and you were a big fan of Jerry's and also a friend of Jerry's. And one of the things that the three of us have in common is our love for Laura Nero, right?
Well, I can remember like it was yesterday. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I wasn't
No,
a friend of
please.
Jerry's. I met you and Jerry at the same time
Oh,
at the
okay.
Duplex. And I went up to him on his break and I said, "Do you play any Laura Nero?" And he goes, "Well," he misspoke. He said, "Well, it depends if I like you. I mean, if I like the songs you're choosing." And so he proceeded to play several Laura Nero songs. And
Yep.
I haven't seen Jerry in a while, but he always accommodates me. And, the last time I saw you at Brandy's, the young man, he managed to get through Stony End. He did a great job.
He did, and I believe that his name is JD. And
JD.
yeah, now the crazy thing is there's a lot of kismet happening because our other guest, Scott Barbarino, his musical director for his show is JD. So the same, isn't that crazy? The same guy that played Laura Nero for you is also connected to Scott. So this is beautiful how this is all working out. So now, Barry, you've always loved Laura Nero. And those of us of that generation grew up listening to her and were influenced by her music. But now you wrote a show of her music, right? So you
Yeah,
wrote.
let me give you a brief synopsis.
Please, please.
I'm 72 now. I'm not ashamed of that. And I've been in love with Laura Nero's music since I was 16. So that tells you how long that affair has been going on. So anyway, I wrote a one-act play called "And a World to Carry On." I expanded it to a two acts in 2015 for our local community theater. And I wanted to take it a notch up. That is to get to professional theater. And Stageworks Theater, who is housing the show and producing the show, they were going to do my play. However, there was a problem. I couldn't get the rights to her music because the Sony ATV, they couldn't reveal what the project was. I suspect it may be taken for a documentary. I'm not sure. But anyway, I called them back and said, "Hey, what if I convert my play into a cabaret show?" And so instead of, say, a 10-person musical play, I now have Erica Garoffa, who played Laura Nero back in 2015, with a 3-piece combo in a cabaret.
Wow. That's so you have 3 pieces. And you wrote and directed it. So what does that mean, Barry? You wrote you wrote everything that connects the show musically.
Yes, exactly. Basically, there have been, when Lauren died in 2000, when was it? I can't even remember. 2007, I believe it was.
Okay.
No, 1997, excuse me. Uh, it was funny. I had this crazy idea that maybe I could hire her for my wedding, which was, say, 8 months away. And then I was driving home from work and I heard about her death from ovarian cancer. So, uh, anyway, so I decided, here's the deal with Laura Nero. Ask even baby boomers who she is, and they don't know. But then
Mm,
you start listing the songs, and a recognition appears. So I said, this is just not correct. This woman needs to be recognized. So I used sources. Michelle Court, who sadly also passed away from ovarian cancer. I used her as a source. She wrote, actually, it's the same title as my show, Soul Picnic. Uh, so,
wow.
but I had full. I knew which songs I wanted to be in the show, and it's
Okay.
basically, with the exception of one song that I've added it for. I shouldn't say this as an encore. It's all her early years from her first four albums.
Wow. That's wonderful. And the girl that's playing her is very talented.
Well, a friend of mine who also writes music reviews listed her as one of the best performances of the decade. So I was going to, here's a little inside story. I was going to do this show back last November, but Erica Garaffa, who is now the narrator, who previously played Lauren Nero, she was going to do it again last April, but unfortunately, a little baby got in the way. So
Oh boy.
uh, she was ready to do it. Then she says, I don't think I'm able to with a 2 month old child. So now the
Mm,
child's 19 months old and she's ready to go.
I love it. And it worked out perfectly. So now, thank God, Tampa is okay. The theater is okay. Our friend Steve Gorin has joined us. Steve is also a Laura Nero fan. I know he is. And his wife, Terry. And Barbara uh, Saltis has joined us. Hello, honey bunny. She's fantastic. She's a good friend of us from way back. All the folks at the Stonewall love her. So, if you are in the Tampa area, and there's two shows, Friday, October 25th, which is this Friday, and that's at 8 p.m., and then Saturday, October 26th, is 7:30. So,
However,
what, honey?
pardon the interruption, Saturday, I just learned this morning, is sold out.
Wow, that is wonderful news, honey.
Absolutely.
That is great.
They,
So,
they've even added seats, cabaret seats. And so I'm telling people anywhere near Tampa Bay, Surrey down to Stageworks Theater, and there's still about 40 or 50 seats open for Friday.
wow, that is really, really, really cool. Okay, so that's sold out. So you have a chance if you want to go. You're going to go on Friday. And the link for that is Stage World Theater. So stageworldtheater.org.
Well, no, Stage Works Theater.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
That's it.
sorry.
Yeah, spelled perfectly. Very good. With
Leo
the
has it.
RE, right.
Yes, my mistake. So if you're listening, Stage Works Theater, works with an S, theater.org. You go there and you get your tickets. And the address for that, I believe I wrote it down. It is 1120 East Kennedy Boulevard, and that is in Tampa, Florida.
That's in the Channel Side District of Tampa.
Beautiful. All right. And our friend Greg Goodbrode has joined us. Yay, Maria. I'm not even going to give away that Greg may be in the calendar for 2025. That's all I'm going to say. I can't even tell you how sexy it is. Now, Barry, I want to thank you for last minute joining us on the show. Um,
Can we
break a
share
leg.
the little conversation we had
Of course.
about Mr. Barbarino?
Of course. Yes, please.
Now tell me he's half Jewish and half Italian, just like Laura Nero?
I know. That's what I said because I know you're Jewish and we talked about that. And I said, well, Scott Barbarino is half Jewish because we're talking about being a mensch, right? Half Jewish, half Italian. You said, so is Laura Nero. Is that
And
crazy?
there's a little snippet again, but I hope nobody's offended, where it's partly fictional, partly true, where she meets up with the doo-wop boys, at the subway at 170th Street and Concord and the concourse, and they're giving her a hard time. And they ask her if she's Italian, and she goes, yes, but my mother's Jewish. And the doo-wop boy says, oh, what we got here is a real Jew-woppy.
Okay, okay, because of the Italian and the Jew. Yeah, I mean that's the way it was back then, right? Everybody had a nickname. We all had nicknames too. So, well, speaking of doo-wop and being Jewish and Italian, our next guest, Scott, is going to join us in a minute, and he falls under that category. But Barry, I can't thank you enough for joining us last minute. Break a leg, honey. Of course, and I can't wait to hear all about it after this weekend. Okay.
Is there anything I could add before I go?
Unless you want to add something.
Well, just you're going to hear some of Laura Nero's biggest hits, as performed by other people, of course. And Erica Garaffa has an amazing voice. It's a one-of-a-kind voice where she captures the essence of the late great Laura Nero. Wow. And and now with the addition of we have a great keyboardist, bassist, and drummer. So live music this time around. When I did the community theater play, it was all recorded.
Oh, this is even better then. I love that. Those three pieces are great. Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
I'll make an offer if anybody comes to the show on Friday. Like I said, thankfully Saturday's sold out. Introduce yourself to me, and they know Maria Gentili, and I will buy you a drink. How's that?
Oh my God, I love that, Barry. That's so sweet. And when I see you next time, whether it's at the Duplex on Wednesdays or Brandy's Friday or Saturdays, I will buy you a drink, my love. How does
you
that?
You are my love. Thank you. Yes.
Always a
Thanks
pleasure.
For all you do.
And thank you, Barry. You always support the show, and it really means a lot to me.
Again, even if you're not in Tampa Bay, fly down.
Okay. All right, honey. Say hi to everybody and break a leg, okay?
Well, thank you for the well wishes about the storm, and I'll be listening to the show.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Barry Silber, writer and director of Soul Picnic in Tampa, Florida, at Stage Works Theater. Barry is such a sweet man. And he's over the years we've had some beautiful conversations, and he loves music as much as we do. So thank you, Barry. What a sweet man. Okay, perfect segue, right? Italian, Jewish, doo-wop. Does that describe Scott Barbarino or what? So this is not just Scott Barbarino. This is Scott Barbarino and the Bevnaps. They are making a comeback. Not that they ever went anywhere, but now there's a lot to tell. So we asked Scotty to join us tonight. Leo, do we have Scotty in there?
I'm a big fish, small pond, day spring and the night's long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. I'm a believer, I'm a swing man, as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me.
There he is with his own promo.
Hello, my friend.
Hi, my love. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's
Oh,
good to be here with you.
always nice to have you, Scott.
That was a nice segment there. It always thrills me. By the way, I'm really happy to hear that Saturday night show is sold out. Isn't that a great 2 words? Sold out.
Yes, and also the fact that it's in Tampa, which just got hit so badly with that storm. I was worried about him. I actually last week I messaged him because I was a little worried. He's right down there, but he got out in time. I guess they went to North Carolina or something. Wow. But the theater is standing and doing beautifully and sold out.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's some beautiful theaters down there in Florida too. Really.
Yep.
There's a lot going on in the business.
Absolutely.
Titusville, by the way, is another place. If you've never been there, they have a great theater. Yeah, a friend of mine is down there. These little theaters, they're in these towns all over Florida.
Fort Lauderdale, I know, has a beautiful theater down there too.
They're delivering the music.
And you know what? As we should. That's one thing that always brings everybody together. I know it sounds like, contrived, but it's the truth. Music just everybody. I always say from little babies all the way up to 100. My grandmother was 101. She was still singing.
It's the gist of what I do
Yep.
and what we're doing by bringing back the group. You know,
Now, when I first met you in the early 90s, I was going to the duplex. I hadn't started working there yet, but I had heard, in the mid 90s, I had heard about Scott Barbarino and the Bevnaps.
right?
And the Bevnaps were different people. I know Bill Morgan, Jonathan Tomaselli, right? Michael Barberi.
Barbieri, yeah.
Yep.
Jimmy Rutland,
Yep.
Ruth Ann Bender came
Oh
in.
my God.
The Bevnaps switched out over the years, but the core group that won the MAC Awards and that we were really, we traveled to London and we did a couple of really good gigs around, was Jimmy Rutland, Jonathan Tomaselli, Michael Barbieri, and Mark Hartman was our music
Mark
director.
Hartman,
So,
right.
we've been working together, but the Bevnaps started in the bars. I was a bartender and a manager at the duplex. Oh, here he is.
Oh my God. How did we get this handsome devil on as well?
Oh, hello.
You are the bonus person. I love this.
I'm a
I
bonus
thought it was-
prize.
You are. We were just talking about you. I thought you were just going to phone in, but I'm so happy to see your beautiful face. Now, Scott, are you musically directing this round?
I'm doing some musical consulting on this round. I unfortunately am not able to make the shows. I'm all over the place
I know you are.
consistently.
I love that you're. Every time I look at your Facebook, you're literally taking a picture from a plane and you're on your way somewhere.
Mark
Pretty
is
much, pretty much.
one of the busiest men in show business.
I know.
But I'm thrilled that we work together, and I'm thrilled that he's still working with us by creating the charts and the vocal arrangements and all, and then passing on to our now current musical director on the stage with us, who is J.D. Smurthwaite. There you
I
go.
love
That's a real
that.
classic.
Exactly. No, JD's great, and it's been so wonderful to revisit so many of these arrangements. I pull a chart out to clean it up and make it pretty for somebody else to read, and some of these charts say 1998, 1999 on them, and it's like, oh wow. Eugh.
Yeah. I know,
But
right?
but they hold up and they're wonderful, and
Well, that's
and
what
it's
it
so great
is.
to see a new group doing them.
Yeah, and you know what? It breathes new life into it, and yet. What I love that Scott, you started this group and you are the consistent, right? And
Oh yeah, I'm the consistent.
no, you are. But the thing is, what's beautiful about that is that you've brought people in and they bring something new to it. It's like this unit that's already standing, right? The Scott Barbarino and the Bevnaps, and then there's all this history. That's what I love about the Bevnaps. All this cabaret history, right?
Yeah,
The
history
thing is,
indeed.
yeah, it's not easy to keep a group going. You got to keep working, and you got to keep having shows and all. We had the fortune in the beginning of all working in the bars together, so we spent copious amounts of time together.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times we would put new music in to the show we'd go outside onto the sidewalk, work up an arrangement, and then come back in and deliver it in the piano bar. And then it would be in the show the next week, or so we spent a lot of good time together. Now, I still work in the business, but I'm not a bartender. But JD's working in the bars, and
Yeah, he works a lot.
JD is our new musical director on the stage with us, and Dylan Berkshire, who's in the show, he's a singing waiter at Ellen's Stardust, and then Anna Anderson, who's a big favorite.
We love Anna. Anna's
my
great.
God,
She's
amazing.
a sweetheart. And she's a wonderful singer.
Incredible. And we get together and we're putting all, like you said, Mark is getting stuff tightened up for us, and then we're going ahead and we put together a pretty good show, I'd say. We got a nice review today.
Oh, beautiful.
Certain things. The thing that I really appreciate that Bart Greenberg said that he really gets us, because he said it's very hard to tell. It looks like it's ad-libbed, but then it looks like it's rehearsed, but then it's like, but it works. Somehow organically it all works. And I won't tell anybody which parts of it are ad-libbed and which parts.
No, let them guess. And Mark, so you've done the arrangements and now you're flying all over the place, right? So tonight you did a show.
Tonight I did a show with the legendary Rose Levine at the Green Room 42.
Oh my God, I love that room, by the way.
It's a lovely room, and I'll
A
be
nice
back on
room.
Thursday night with Seth Sykes and Joe Poza at 7:00 there at the Green Room.
Wow.
Saturday night, I'm with Scott Siegel at 54 Below doing one of his Broadway's greatest hits shows.
Love that.
Then Sunday night, I'm back at 54 Below with Sondheim Unplugged, and then I fly away on Monday.
Wait, and didn't Sondheim Unplugged just win a Grammy this year?
It was it a Grammy award? Was it a Grammy? I know they were nominated
No, I
for.
think they
I
won.
think they won. I think they won.
Yeah,
I think they
I
won.
know they were
Hi, Bill.
nominated, and Kenny Holcomb did the graphics for it,
Absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
I believe that they ended up winning.
I think they did. Yeah. Joe Goodrich was the pianist on the records. John Fisher has taken over as the music director of the Sondheim Unplugged. But
I love
when he's not there, I get to pinch hit, which I really enjoy.
I love that. Well, you're all. I love that. You can do anything. You pop in and out, and you do it so gracefully. And then I just love looking at your Facebook. I'm like, he's off again. He's doing something. Do you? And so you
Where's
must
he going
like
now?
that. But that you like that, right?
I do love it. I do love it. But it's always good to sort of get back to New York and touch base with people like Scott and this wonderful group. You know, I've known Anna forever.
I know.
And the fact that she's part of these arrangements now is delightful. And JD's wonderful too.
Yes, he is. Now, Scott, let me ask you,
Yeah.
when you have new people that come in, does that kind of force you to change songs, or do you choose songs? Like, let's say you have Anna. Do you say, oh, you know what would be a great song for Anna? How do you go about that?
Well, I do that, but I'll also find out because, interestingly enough, and amazingly, actually, with JD, because I don't know how old he is. I think he's 21 or 22. He might have lied when he first
he's
got
more
here.
like 23 or 24 by
He
now.
might have lied here when he got here. You know, he met me his first night in New York. He came to Ellen Stardust Diner, and he said, I want a job. And I was like, well, I don't think I can give you one here, but, you know, you're really interested in piano bar and stuff like that. Maybe I can see what I can do to get you, you know, more involved. I brought him up to Jim Lazar at Brandy's, and he started working the door there, and he started getting up at the piano every now and then. Now, over the 4 years that he's been here, he's playing in all the different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with him is he really knows the old stuff. Somehow, like I just heard that he played a Laura Nero song. And it's like, how do you know all of this stuff? He's really well versed.
Yeah, he is.
And Mark, obviously, and I lived most of it. I mean, not all of it, obviously. I lived a little bit more of the 50s and 60s, but, you know, so getting new people into the group, it doesn't happen that often. And I really haven't performed in about 18 years. I've done little things. Yeah, it's been a while because the group broke up. We dissolved. We were planning, as Mark will remember, we did a gig in London. We did this party that was 5 different floors, and each one was a decade of music. And I don't remember what floor we were on, but we did that 50s stuff, and it was a big party for a law firm that was opening their offices. And then we were scheduled to go to Geneva. We had some people that wanted us to come over and perform because that music was really still big in Europe, and it's probably still doing pretty well there. And then the towers came down.
Wow.
And obviously there was no traveling or anything, so everything stopped, and we hit a wall. And then I went to work at Ellen Stardust, and so I've done little walk-ons and done little things here and there, but not really with the full group. So the decision I made last year was, if I'm asking the singing servers that work for me to perform and all of that, I have to show it myself.
I love that.
Bringing the group back, I handpicked JD and Anna and Dylan, and now we're back up and running. And it's like I'm having a good time. I'll say, definitely having a good time.
Yeah, that's great. So your next show is November 13th.
November 13th, and we have Karen Mack joining us.
Oh my! You know, it's one of my favorite people in the world. Not to mention, I am crazy about her voice and her style. And she just came out with a new album. So go and check out Karen Mack. And I think there's a new site called Bandcamp, if I'm not mistaken. Bandcamp. Karen Mack has a brand new album on that. So go check that out. So she is in your show. What does November 13th fall on? What is that? A Friday?
Our shows are on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesdays. Okay.
Wednesdays, and then the next one is in December 18th. And I have Peter Rapanero, who's somebody from the old days, who's a real Christmas guy. He really celebrates the holidays. And Ruth Ann Benda is going to be joining us
What?
on stage. Absolutely.
She's making a comeback.
She's coming back out. She's going to hit the stage. I'm looking forward to it. And as I say, Ruth Ann, Ruth Ann's moniker now is Ruth Ann Bender. You can't end her. She's just doing great.
I love Ruth Ann. Are you kidding me? I love Ruth Ann. Do you want to know some history? This is so crazy. In I'm going to say 91, maybe, I was working at a place called Joe's Barn Grill it was 142 West 10th Street. It was across from Cafe Torino.
I remember.
Okay. And I was a bartender there. And guess who my manager was? This young lady named Ruth Ann Bender. Is that crazy? And then I ended up getting a job at Tony and Tina's wedding.
And I bet I know two of your. I bet I know two of your best bar customers, Murray Cox and Bob Quinn. You remember they would sit at the bar there? They loved that. They loved Joe's.
Wow, that's a throwback. Yeah, that's way back. Think about that. And so Ruth Ann was my manager.
From the duplex we'd slip out of where we were at the duplex or at Marie's or whatever, and we had to have another place to go to drink on our break, and they would go to Joe's.
I love that place. That was a great restaurant. But anyway, that's how far back we go. And then I started working at Tony and Tina's, and I left there. But and then I worked at the duplex in '98, and then of course I was reunited with Ruth Ann again. Let me see. Leo Rodriguez says the best New York City history lessons are happening right here. Take notes, people. Thank you, Leo. That's why I love the old school stuff. And Mark, you've been around forever. So how long have you been in the city? Like at least 20 years, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't get to the city until '97. I'm a late bloomer.
Okay, but that's 20. Yeah,
that's 27 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you came into the city, and did you start in musical theater? Did you start in piano bar right away? Did you?
It's interesting. It's interesting. I started doing everything all at once. So I had moved to New York very suddenly because I kind of got an offer I couldn't refuse. And my third day in town, I booked my first Broadway show.
Oh my God, come on.
My fourth day in town, I had been told to go down to 88's during happy hour.
I love that place.
And see Rochelle. Rochelle Selden and ask her if I could play for her. And I had a couple of references that were spurious but effective. And Kate Bacassi was on the bar. And I said, I'm supposed to ask for Rochelle? Said, she'll be here in a minute.
I love it. That was a great club. And those broads were tough.
Oh yeah. I was terrified. And finally Rochelle came up. Hi.
Yeah,
and adorable. And I said, Richard Wall and Jay Rogers said I was supposed to play for you. Well, play something. Yeah. And I did. And I got a call to work there the next night.
Wow.
Subbing for Karen Miller, Trial by Fire.
Oh, yeah. Well, you just got thrown in.
You're right. Oh, just terribly.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And then suddenly I had Mondays for the rest of the summer.
See, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. The thing is, I mean, maybe, I don't know, Scotty, you manage Ellen Stardust Diner. I mean, you've seen so many amazing people come in and out of the city and in and out of the pool of talent, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I also worked in the at Mama's and at the duplex. And
for years.
I saw people and all there. Yeah, there's a lot of talent in New York for sure.
Yeah.
Mark, you got to join. We needed the musical director at about that same time, and then probably in that same week or the week after that is when I contracted you to play for us, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't long after because I had. I got the job subbing on 1776 at the Roundabout, and then I got the gig at 88's, and then I played my first cabaret act like a week and a half later for somebody, I don't remember whom. And suddenly I was doing piano bar, and I was doing cabaret, and I was doing Broadway shows, and it was all very nice and happening very, very quickly.
Excellent.
And then I met Scott Barbarino I was probably subbing a happy hour at Rose's Turn or something when I met you.
Yeah, I
I
was
would
just going to
imagine.
say, because Scotty, you were at Rose's Turn too, right?
I did stay at I went to Rose's Turn for a while. I worked at Rose's Turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember, because you and Ruth Ann and Kim Lee and so many people from there used to come into the duplex when I was working afterwards. It was like Joe Artizone and I used to joke and say, we just keep passing the same $20 bill back and forth.
Well,
'cause
back then it was a $5 bill.
yeah.
No, actually, Mark, it was a 20. You could actually get a good chunk of your rent
Oh my.
passing that. It was a $20 bill, and I remember we said it back then too. This 20 is going up to Brandy's, and then the 20 would go to Brandy's,
Yeah.
and then they would get passed. Just traveled around.
Just
I never had that 20.
Yeah, well, we did.
Yeah.
Never had
The
I-
bartenders did.
I was young. I was young and a piano player. I only had 5.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
but no, Scotty, I don't think you were working there at Rose's, but I think that's where I met you. And like the next week, I got a job 3 nights a week playing Echo l'Italia.
Oh, well, there you go.
What a throwback that
Another
is.
throwback for sure.
Yeah, my shift was 11 to 7.
11
wrong-
at night to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
7 in the morning.
a.m.
Okay, so we used to close the duplex, Bill Morgan and I, and Bill Morgan would be like, we got to close. I got to get to Echo. And so we would close at 4, right? He and I
Yep.
on a Monday night, and he would race out of there and go to Echo. And it was like a whole other after hours party, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people would come in, like the room would be, I'd start playing at 11 and finish up with the dinner crowd. And then the room would be empty and the door would be locked and the curtains come down and the little guy sits, at a little stool by the door and you knock, and if he doesn't know you, he doesn't let you in.
That was
And
Hiram.
that was Hiram. Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
Bald head, little gray ponytail. It was amazing.
That was him.
And a little brocade vest. It's fantastic.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, nobody would come in for like that first hour. And then about 12:15, 12:30, all the restaurant people were getting off work and they'd come in.
Right.
Then at about 1:15, 1:30, the 1 o'clock bar people would come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2:15, 2:30, the 2 o'clock bar people would come in. And then people from Brandy's would come in because they would close, 2:33
Right.
in that spot.
Duplex is the last to close.
And Duplex and Rose's Turn and
Stonewall.
Mama's would close at 4. And those people would be in by 4:30, 4:45. And
Wow.
and
I haven't
and
thought about
we'd
that
have at
place
least another
before.
hour and a half before
Yeah.
people had decided to go home.
Unbelievable.
I was up the
So
block. I was up the block next door to one, if by land, I was at Barrow Street Ale House.
Bear Street
much.
Ale
Oh,
House.
right.
That was legendary also for the after hours. I was the
Oh.
bartender there, and we close at around 3:30 and reopen at 4.
Oh, my
and
God.
and go until 7:30, 8 in the morning, and then we would send everybody over to the 55 bar on Christopher Street. That was the
It
last
just
stop.
it never
8 a.m.
ended.
was open. It was
It
open at 8
never
a.m.
ended. Okay, so question has come. First of all, we'll check in with our people in a minute. But Andy Prasky, who we love, who, by the way, is going to be on our show in a couple weeks because he just wrote 2 beautiful children's books. I got them in the mail. I'm blown away. He's going to
Fantastic.
join us in November, I believe the 12th, but I'll remind you guys. But Andy Prasky says, hey, guys, nice to see you all. And then he says, Mark, did you ever, what was it like working with Cheetah?
The Cheetah Rivera was the sweetest, most amazing person, and I'm not the first, and I won't be the last to say this. She was simply incredible, and you knew you were in the presence, not just of history,
Yep.
but
greatness.
but of absolute greatness.
Yep. I agree.
And with such, I don't want to say humility, with such a she was in the show. She was just up there doing a show. You know,
Right.
it wasn't like, oh, you know, there was no ego about
I
it.
know. Yeah.
You know, just the most and the Cheetah you saw on stage was basically the same Cheetah you saw off stage.
Yeah.
You
I
know, she
just
was just
finished.
amazing.
I just not just a few months ago. I finished her audiobook, and it
Mm,
was incredible. I think it's my favorite audiobook I ever listened to, because she reads it, of course, and she originated everything that was anything that meant, that historically, theatrically changed the trajectory of theater and of inclusion, and just incredible. Leo and I were talking about it this week. But I also had the pleasure of waiting on her many times when I worked at Bar Centrale. And everything you said, Mark, she was as nice to the bartenders and the waiters as she was to a director she was working with at the time. Lovely,
absolutely,
lovely,
absolutely.
lovely.
I have one really quick story, and
Sure.
then we'll move on. I was working on The Dancer's Life, her autobiographical Broadway show
Yeah.
that did not run nearly long enough, but it's a beautiful show. And there was a moment that she did Nowadays from Chicago
Mm.
with an empty spotlight for Gwen,
Wow.
and it was just a gorgeous moment. But we were putting the number together in New York at the 42nd Street Studios, New 42, and she kept saying, "It doesn't feel right." And you know, Graziella Danielle was directing it, and she was like, "No, I think it goes like this," and Chidi kept saying, "No, it's not right." And people from the show kept coming in from 75 and saying, and there were videos, you know, of them doing it on TV shows, but no, that was adjusted. That's not what we did. And finally, we were in San Diego for the out of town, and Catherine Doby, who is Fosse's longtime associate, lives nearby. And in a very secret rehearsal, Cheetah called Kathy, and nobody from the production could be there. So it was like Kathy Doby, Cheetah Rivera, a third assistant stage manager, and me, the lowest pianist on the totem pole, secretly in this little room in the basement at the Old Globe. And Kathy says, "No, it goes like this." And in 20 minutes, we put the original 75 staging of Nowadays together. And somewhere on someone's device, there's a video of me playing Nowadays for Cheetah, the first time she had done what everyone thought was the original 75 staging since around 1978.
Wow.
And that was pretty amazing.
I
pretty
can
amazing.
imagine. That's
Just
beautiful.
Just wonderful to be in the room with these two people reconstructing this choreography from the backs of their minds. It was really fascinating to watch.
That's a great story.
Wow.
Thank you,
I don't
Andy.
want to make you kids jealous. I don't want to make you kids jealous, but in 75, I got to see Cheetah, I
Yeah.
got to see Gwen, and I got to see Jerry Orbach in that original production. Boy, the 70s, that middle of the 70s, man, there was some amazing
That's my
shows.
favorite era for Broadway. That
Oh,
is my
man.
favorite era for Broadway.
Incredible. I knew that I was seeing something that was magical,
hmm
and then from there, you know.
And now I'm going to tie in something. First of all, Andy, thank you for your great question. I got to work with Jerry Orbach in a movie directed by Al Pacino called Chinese Coffee. And I was in a scene with Jerry Orbach. I played a bad talent belly dancer. And Jerry played a photographer that was taking photographs of me and just got disgusted and said, put your clothes on, get out of here. And I got to tell you, it's one of the greatest to this day. It was many years ago, greatest experience of my life. He was such a gentleman beyond gentleman. And I have a picture. It was also the Knicks were in the finals, and they took a break from filming because they wanted to watch this game. So it was me, Jerry Orbach, and Al Pacino. I was dressed in my belly dancer costume watching this game. I mean, it's just like all these great New York memories that you could never, ever. How do you describe them to anybody in this little dressing room? You know, it's just beautiful.
Well, I don't want to make all of you jealous, but I've seen all those people in movies on film.
Oh, well, you really think you're something, Mr. Dodgers. No, it's great. I love this stuff. Okay, let's take a quick break to do the food section of our show, as you know we do. Now, I'm not home, but I did manage to put a little something together. So, I'm going back on the keto in the next few days because I went crazy this month. But I am kind of
Rightfully
transitioning back.
so, though.
I know. Thank you, honey. I had to. Had a very bad month. But I made delicious steak.
Oh my!
So I have sirloin steak tips. I chopped up, marinated them in oil, garlic, and then I took red cherry peppers from the jar, you know, which is marinated in vinegar and all that. And I marinated that all together with a little bit of red wine, and I cooked these up, and then I put them on a salad. So I'm going to have a salad with steak tips, because I had a lot of steak tips. I was in Boston. Steak tips are big in Boston, with cherry peppers, and I highly recommend it. Now, this is hot. It's very spicy, but absolutely 100% delicious. So that's my salad and my meal. What do I have for dessert? Oh, my God, I can't wait to eat this, because I'm still not on the keto completely. I'm still. So there's a beautiful, beautiful Turkish lots of Turkish bakeries in Jersey. I'm in Cliffside Park, and there's one on Anderson Avenue that, for you Jersey people, it's called Saray, Saray, and there's a lot of Turkish bakeries out here, and they are the best. They're the best. So this is like a caramel cake inside with a little caramel syrup. These are coffee beans, espresso beans, and this is a little white chocolate. So that is my dessert for tonight. I can't wait to eat that. And then,
they're coffee beans. Okay.
Yeah, they're little coffee beans dipped in chocolate. How great is that? So that is my food for tonight. I made the steak, but I did not make the dessert. I am not a baker at all. My cousin Rena is a baker, though. Let's check on some of our people that might have checked in while we were talking. Barry says, "Thank you, Maria. You are the greatest." As are you, Barry. Good luck with your beautiful show, Soul Picnic, at the Stage Works Theater in Tampa on Kennedy Boulevard. That is happening this Friday and Saturday, but Saturday sold out. Brendan Ryan says, "Higher, Michael, higher." LOL. Now, is that for Scotty? Would that be Michael Isaacs? I know we're talking about Michael Isaacs at that point. Brendan Ryan is a mutual friend of mine and Michael's.
Was it Michael Mackesy?
Oh,
Michael Mackesy popped in, yes.
He popped in as well. Too. Yes, hi, Michael. Hi, sweetheart. I love Michael Mackesy. Here's a little trivia for you. Did you guys know that Michael Mackesy and I were roommates in 1993?
No.
Nancy Tipinero, our friend, I wanted to move into the city. I was living in Staten Island, and she said, "Oh, my friend Michael Mackesy is going on tour. He's a musical director. You could just sublet his apartment." And that's what I did. It was a studio. And then he would come back every once in a while and just spend the weekend in his own apartment, of sure. And so then I would disappear. When he would come home, I'd be like, "Don't worry, I'll go and stay at my friend Debbie's house." And that's what I would do. And then he would leave, and he was a really fun roommate. But it was a studio, a tiny studio. So he was my roommate, and then he moved to Chicago, and so we gave up the apartment. But who else? Mahendra Girl already crossed 1 billion second passing times with "Don't Disappear." I don't know what that's about, but perhaps, I don't know, maybe that's a bomb. I don't know. But anyway, Brendan Isaacs, Ruth Ann Bender. Oh, yes, thank you. Ruth Ann Bender. She was singing Delta Dawn, and we would keep singing, say higher, because she would modulate and modulate and modulate. That's what that was. Okay. Anyway, maybe if there's a way to get rid of Como se llama over there. Okay, but anyway, thank you, Brendan. Thank you so much, honey. All right, so let me see. Let's recap. We got about 7 minutes left. Scotty, tell us when your next 2 shows are, honey.
Well, here's the thing. This is really super fun and important. I've got the BevNap shows going back up, and I'm looking forward to those, and those are great. But I'm also getting a chance to work, and actually, Mark and I, we have to be in the studio at 11 a.m. because I'm starting a new series of variety shows at
Wow.
Lips, which is the drag, which is where they have the drag shows. It's the quintessential drag nightclub in New York.
And
But
that's
on
on the Upper East
Tuesdays,
Side now, right?
huh?
Is that on the Upper East Side now?
Upper East Side now. Used to be in the Village.
Yeah.
Down in the Village. Now on Tuesdays, it's not I'm not doing a drag show, but I'm doing what's going to be a mix of everybody together in one room. So, and that's going to be Barbarino's Big Night Out. That means I get to put the show together. I get to book the acts, and then on the night of the show, I get to sit in the back of the room and watch and have
I
my
love
night
it.
out. I could bring friends with me and hang out.
Oh, I love
And
it.
tomorrow we're working with 3 female vocalists, the Tropicabana Trio. And that's Winter Commander, Lynn Weber. Both of them are from Ellen Stardust. And
Love
Hannah
it.
Jane, who's in the cabaret and Mac community, and she's astounding. So the 3 of them are getting together, and we're working on 2 numbers, and it's old school. Sugar Time and Mark, help me. My brain is going flat.
And Mr. Sandman.
Oh, Mr. Sandman, of course.
Oh, nice.
And
Sandman.
you have Liz Davies, who was
And
a friend of
I
Leo.
love that.
Liz Davies is going to be our comedian. John is playing that
John
show.
Bronson, incredible. And
And
Brandy
Brandy Massey,
Massey.
Brandy Massey. I just saw her when
Oh
I
my
visited
God.
you down at
That's
Stonewall.
Stonewall. She's
a few weeks ago.
incredible.
Brandy's
She's in-
fantastic.
Oh my God, as is Liz and John. Oh, what a
And hosted by Joshua Chachi Cruz, who's also another. He's fantastic. So tomorrow we get to learn some Mark gets to teach some harmonies, which is great. I certainly haven't made any money in this business. Maria, do you have a bank account, a savings account? Because we know what it's like. You spend the money. I have a little bit now.
Anybody thinks that they're going to make money in this business,
They're wrong.
Get a side hustle.
But I have enough right now
Preach.
that I can pay and hire and make stuff happen. That's music, that's creative, that's going to the main thing that I want to do is pass on everything that I know and everything that we know to the next generation down. And Mark's going to help with that tomorrow. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And so that's tomorrow night.
Awesome.
Mark, you are there. Okay.
Right. We have a show. The shows are on November 12th, November 26th, and December 10th. There's 3 shows booked at Lips every 2 weeks. And then after that, we're going to go down. And then after the new year, we'll come back up and run.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
those are on Tuesdays, and those are on Tuesdays, and the BevNap shows are on Wednesdays, right?
Correct.
You can make a whole midweek out of it.
I have a lot going on.
And
Brandon
the thing about New York,
Maria, Brandon Cottrell.
I love Brandon.
I know. He's going to be the house manager at Lips, working
nice.
during these performances. So it's going to be a completely immersive, because if you know Brandon, it's not going to just be on the stage.
No, but you know what I love about this
experience,
Scotty and Mark and Leo? It's what we were talking about before with all those clubs, right? And that history of the 90s and the 2000s. What is happening here is it's just a continuation, this beautiful train of people that come through New York, and it just keeps going and going and going. And Scott, you are the keeper of history and memories. And so you're a perfect vehicle to continue to teach and bring people through. And same thing with Mark. Like, it's just the way that nobody could describe New York. You just have to experience New York.
Yeah, we love this.
Yeah,
we love this.
Yeah, and that's what.
What would I do if I wasn't doing this? I wouldn't. I have to say, it's been what's kept me going. It's always been about music, and the reality, as you started off, to come full circle, is music is really everything. Anytime that anything's been problematic, even during that that whole pandemic that we went through, what was the first thing that started really shining out was music and people coming online. And I did do Piano Bar Live Michael
loved it.
Mackey is on the side. I saw him come in earlier. Michael and I put that together. It's always been
It's
about
fantastic.
music.
I love that.
I
Shit.
remember
love
the
it.
most
beginning to
important
that.
thing.
Yep,
I
I
remember
do.
the beginning to that. That was an amazing venture.
The most important thing we have that we have to give the world is music.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
That's where I learned Nancy Tampanero, Nancy.
I love Nancy. Oh
I
my God.
learned a lot.
And I worked with Nancy at Tony and Tina's wedding. She was Mrs. Vitale.
Wow.
That was one of the bridesmaids.
So
Nancy. And Nancy got
intertwined,
me
connected.
and Michael Mackesy together as roommates. I mean, how crazy is that? I love it.
And
All right.
Tony and Tina's wedding was in the space that was Waverly, which is where I worked as a waiter in a nightclub.
Look at
So
that.
I used to love coming up there after we left
I love it.
Waverly and come to the wedding and check out the old space.
Wow. I love this. We went down memory lane and we also, extended the avenue into the future. I love it.
Is there a Scantron? Because I've got a number 2 pencil. I'm ready for this test.
You'll pass it too. And good luck to your LA Dodgers. Good luck to the Yankees. So that's who's in the World Series, folks. West Coast, East Coast.
Friday night, 8:00. It's right there streaming.
Beautiful.
Right there underneath. First game Friday, October
Our
25th.
friend Chris Tapiro, who helps us many times on the show. Good luck to your Yankees. And Scotty, thank you for joining us again. Always
been a pleasure.
The most fun. And Mark, I love you. Thank you for everything that you bring to the table as a human and as a musician. Just beautiful. And Barry, thank you for joining us at the last second. This is What's the Story with Maria. We're here. Oh, yes. Thank you. Vote.
Yeah,
We're
vote.
here every Tuesday. I got my Kamala shirt on, and I'm feeling very hopeful, but that doesn't mean we just sit and rest on our laurels. You must get out and you must vote. Whenever that is, get it done. If you're going to be out of town, mail in your ballot or do it early. And we will see you on we'll be here next week. And we haven't decided about November, the night of the election. I think it'll be too crazy.
Ooh, you sure?
Yeah.
We can have our own updates.
You know what? We can do that, Leo. Let's update. Let's do our own update.
Let's get Senator. Will Senator be with us on that night?
Senator Mesa. I'm going to be with Senator Mesa. Yeah, we're having a few friends over. That's what he calls my girlfriend, Senator Mesa. Yes, we're going to have a few friends over. Maybe we'll do a live. Okay, we'll have to do it now. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And just one thing, I always like our guests to leave us with some words of inspiration because the show is watched by creators all over the place. What is something that you want to leave our listeners with just to keep people in the game? On those days when you're just like, I have nothing left in me. What is some words of inspiration? We'll start with you, Scotty, and we'll end with Mark. What do you think?
Well, you know what? Keep going. That's it. Just keep going. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't. And I know that I'm not the first person to give that advice, and I won't be the last, but it truly is a matter of you just have to keep going and keep working, and you'll find it.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Mark? What do you want to leave us with?
You are the only you on the face of the earth. The only you there has ever been, the only you there will ever be. There is no one like you. There's no one that has your voice. There's no one that has your taste. There's no one else that has your sensibility. You owe it to yourself and to all the rest of us to tell us who you are.
Oh, I love that. My God.
Wow.
Tell us who you are. And you know what? That goes right back to Kamala. She always says, don't let other people tell you who you are. You show them who you are. And I love that. And Barry and Barbara say, vote blue. Yes, vote blue, please. Listen, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It's not about that anymore. This is about saving our country. So in order to do that, we have to vote blue and get everything back to the way it should be. And then we can all go do whatever the hell we do. Okay. We love and appreciate you. Leo Rodriguez, my incredible accidental stage manager. Wonderful. The man behind the curtain who does everything. He also runs our pages. So go and visit what'sthestorywithmaria.com. He runs all that. He did my Facebook page. He's a gun for hire. Can't say enough. Scott Barbarino, Mark Hartman, Barry Silver. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week, and good night.
Good night.